We are on the Apollo Ghost. Let me turn on the key. My goal is to show you Wynwood and an area called Midtown. I'm right now on an Apollo Ghost, full battery. Look, it says 112 miles, guys. We're gonna see what we do and how far we go. All right, we're starting off this video on Northwest 29th Street and Northwest 2nd Avenue. It will get a little bumpy, so I hope you guys enjoy the ride. Just checking everything, making sure we're good. Yeah, we're good. All right, guys, welcome to Wynwood. So you're gonna see a lot of graffiti here, and when you come to Wynwood on the weekends especially, it's gonna be very, very busy. And you'll have a lot of bars and stuff like that. Now I'm coming in during the week, so you're not gonna see a lot going on, but you will see a lot of this artwork. Actually, just getting into this little area looks so much cleaner already. Look, welcome to Wynwood. So we're on 28th Street and Northwest 2nd Avenue. This is a nice little bar that's always been pretty busy here too. It's called House. And oh look, you have the local trolley over here passing through, which you can get, guys. Wait for it. All right, so you're gonna see a lot of artwork. Wynwood has been known for a lot of the artwork that local artists have done. So we're gonna go right now. Let me see if I just show you around the area real quick, right? So normally this is not the areas that you guys are gonna be hanging out with. You'll probably stay on the same street that we were just on, but there are events. I think there's a Bitcoin event happening in this area soon, if I'm not mistaken. And you see all the artwork. Now, little by little, Wynwood has been selling off a lot of the properties, and they've made it into restaurants, casual bars, eateries, and stuff like that. And even some buildings are starting to pop up as far as residential. This primarily was more like an industrial area before, and little by little it has become what is known as Wynwood. So that's why I want to show you guys. We're right now during the week going through here, and you'll see a lot of galleries here. So if you're really into art, and like we have a major event called Art Basel that happens here. All right, let's go back to the main strip so you guys can see what you kind of like typically see. But it's nice to see how it's growing more and more. Like there's a bakery now, like there's a lounge, like all these little outskirts from the main strip are starting to come up. All right, this is a side entrance for Wynwood Walls. Wynwood Walls is probably one of the most recognized art places here. So this is one of the side entrances. The main entrance, and if you look back in there, guys, it's really, really pretty. They have different artists that are featured, so it's really cool. So that would be the side entrance, and all this area behind here is also still considered Wynwood Walls. See how people are just taking pictures, and the Wynwood Wall shop. Look at this car. Wow, this is so cool. Look at that. Freaking dope. All right. Cool stuff, huh? All right, let's get back to the main strip. We got, looks like a news crew here. Gonna start doing something. All right, we're on Northwest 2nd Avenue again and Northwest 26th Street. We're gonna be going down streets, okay? Okay, so this would be the known entrance to Wynwood Walls right here, guys. This would be the known entrance here. the main entrance. So like whenever there's events, this is where people would come in. And I've done some walking tours of this area, but the idea with my scooter today is to cover more ground so you guys can see more areas. Joey's is one of the older restaurants here in the area that popped up from the beginning. Look, you got a bunch of galleries everywhere, guys. Look at this. How cool is this? What's up, man? How you doing? Look how cool.
How you doing? Welcome.
Thank you. Awesome. I just wanted to show them what's going on. I wanted to record what's going on. Cool stuff. All right, so let me do a quick U-turn. But let me take a little side trip on the side so we can see what's new here. A lot of this also is going to be new to me as well, guys. So it's evolved into it's a really cool little area to hang out in. You see, look, this is what this was known for before. You see these warehouses, a lot of body shops and stuff like that. That's what was here before, and little by little, it's become this. Like, this is a place to live. So it's definitely grown, to say the least. Look, you see there's still more construction and building going on. I think the parking scenario is obviously let's cross through here. We're gonna go to the main strip again. This place is called Wynwood 25, I think it says on that sign. So yeah, you can walk all this area during the day and at night. The more it grows, the safer I think it is. You know, primarily in the beginning it wasn't. I would say, you know, just make sure you're with friends and stuff. But it's evolved into this cool little area. Look at all these. These are all new, guys. All that is new. Wynwood 25 entrance. How cool is this that we can do this with this? And I'm just taking it slow, guys. I'll be moving a little bit faster in a little bit. I'm trying to keep my head as sturdy and still as possible so you guys don't get ride sick. Look, I wonder what they're gonna build there. I hope they don't change the dynamic of the neighborhood. All right, so here is Taco Coyo. We're over here, guys. Look, a lot of people hanging out there. And there's also I think a coffee shop up ahead. So a lot of the local artists, I think we're killing somebody's shot. We did. All right, so we're still on the main strip. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut into some of the areas. So when you actually are looking up at a bar or a place that you wanna go to, you just basically say Wynwood, right? If this is kinda be Wynwood. Now back here, you see those buildings? That would have been a problem. That crazy guy. All right, so let's show you what. All right, we're gonna take a quick round. Okay, so now from the strip, you see there's buildings up there and rooftop dining. All right, so technically, Wynwood, the strip ends right here on Northwest 20th Street. So here's now. If we go, which this is not going to be primarily the part of this video, but I just want to give you guys an idea. If we go this way and make a left, we're gonna pass through an area called Overtown. And I guess maybe we'll see how much this battery could do today, right? All right, so welcome to historic Overtown, okay? So this is Overtown. We're on Northwest 19th Street and 3rd Avenue for those of you guys that are watching. So if we go to our left, we're gonna end up closer to the Intercoastal, and we will probably do that in short time now, just a little bit. Just wanted to give you guys an idea of what's going on here in Overtown. All right, so this is historic Overtown, guys.
All right, buddy.
All right, so little by little, all this area has changed. Now we're gonna see some major and massive construction coming up ahead, because this is a very, very central area. This is really close to downtown, right? All right, so if you're following me on Google Maps, we're on Northwest 1st Place and 16th Street. Oh boy, something's going on over here. I don't know what's going on, but I hope I'm not in looks like some type of bust. If you guys do notice, it's a pretty poor neighborhood, and it's amongst all these lavish neighborhoods, right? So there's a helicopter up there. Let's go ahead and continue forward, and we're gonna continue back to Wynwood. Just wanted to give you guys a quick shot of that area real quick, and don't know what's going on, but obviously something's going on. And I don't know, maybe nope, that's not gonna be a good turn. All right, so we're getting back to Northwest 20th Street, and you're starting to see how Wynwood is expanding this way as well. You see some of the art scene. All right, now once we cross back from 20th, you know, it starts changing it. This is where we actually just turned, right? Look, that's that famous artist, Alec Monopoly. This used to be a place that used to have recycling right here for many years. All right. This is kind of cool, guys. This is a kind of cool video. This kind of gives perspective for you guys. All right, that's more, you know, places. And so what happens is a lot of this property has become art pieces for a lot of those local artists. We're coming up on Miami Avenue. Now, if you're coming in from, say, Brickell, and you're getting an Uber or something like that, this is probably where they're gonna bring you in by. All right, let me show you a really popular area to grab a great burger. You see in the distance right there, my camera's probably gonna pick it up. It's a place called Kush. And they're known for having a good burger. But I'm gonna be going down here. There you go. We're here. All right. We're taking it slow, guys. Okay, so that's Kush. Craft beer, local food. Just entering. A lot of the locals that are in the area, they'll come and hang out there, you know. All right. I want you guys to see how quickly, the closer we get to the intercoastal or to the water, how everything changes a little bit, right? So we're coming up to an area. Whoa, this guy was gonna turn on me, so I'll just come in over here. Doesn't matter, we'll just show you guys the back side again. This kind of little section that we didn't pass through, but that's fine. We'll turn the other street. You guys lucked out on me. All right, we're coming back towards Wynwood still. Now, once we get back to the right, we're gonna pass and we're gonna go to an area which is called Midtown. And Midtown has grown a lot. I just hope I have enough battery on my scooter to show you guys all these cool places. All right. See here? Now you see all these big buildings and all that stuff? There was a similar video that we did recently, and who knows, by the time that you're watching this video, it'll be probably different. I know some of you guys are taking a Chit because you're like, damn, Alfred, that was close. Trust me, guys, I got my helmet on. I'm trying to be as safe as possible. All right, we're on North Miami Avenue and Northwest 20th Street. You see how there's little kind of like stores and bars in this area? All right, so this is Wynwood, right? The graffiti, the art. Now, we're gonna start getting out of Wynwood. Remember, Wynwood, where we started, was up here, a little bit further ahead. Oh, look, an electric bike store. Oh shoot, they got scooters in there. Damn, I didn't know that. So, yeah, I think at a minimum, it's probably a cool place to come and just at least check out, right? Let me get over here again.
You want to even step in?
Even if you just drive by it, because it's got a lot of personality. All right, see how the look is starting to change already? Now we're getting close to an area called Midtown. So this area here was nothing. I mean, all this area, Wynwood started sprouting up. Then these developers saw huge opportunities in all these areas and said, hey, how about we go ahead and build a bunch of high rises and, you know, call it Midtown. And that right there is Midtown. And we're gonna pass through there now, but before we pass through Midtown, I'm gonna show you what I think is the best steak sandwich in all of South Florida. Yes. And I really liked this place because it's a family-owned business. It's a family mom and pop restaurant. It's called Enriqueta's. And I think hands down, I have yet to find a place that has a steak sandwich as good as the one they make. All right, so we're right now in Midtown. See how everything changes a little bit? And this has grown in a matter of years. Now, what's cool about Enriqueta's is the developer of this building right here. See this building right here? Like, hold on, let me get off my scooter real quick. See he actually wanted to buy this little plot of land right here, and he tried for many years, and the owner told him to go pound sand, and he has his restaurant, and they actually had to build around his restaurant. So this is it, guys. Best steak sandwich in all of Miami, Enriqueta's. And this is the window where you would get it, right here. You see here? This is the window. And one of the unfortunate things when you come here, the parking is kind of tough. But for that steak sandwich, you find a way. Trust me, you do. And here's another example of how they had to build around here. Now, the interesting and crazy thing about what was going on with Enriqueta's, it burned down. The inside burned down, and a lot of people thought, wow, you know, it burned down. Now the developer who wants to build there is gonna, you know, it's gonna give the opportunity to go ahead and just sell the lot, and you know. And the owner and the family, I think it's maybe I always see like a mom, a dad, and two daughters working, plus all their employees, you know. All right, so we're gonna head back into Midtown. Just wanted to show you Enriqueta's, and let's go. All right, so what is going on here? Midtown. I bet you some of you guys that haven't been around here for a long time, like, wow, that has changed so much. This was not here, guys. Oh, it's hard. It's hard to see what's going on up there on one of those balconies, but let's just say it looks kind of wild. Here's a local pawn shop, so you can put your things in jail when you need some cash. All right, so we're gonna turn into the stores of Midtown, so you guys can see that area as well. Now, if you guys have been watching some of my walking tour series, I've done walking tours similar to this one, but with, you know, while I'm walking, so it doesn't show as much, but it's informative as well, right? We're coming up on 36th Street, and then we're gonna turn in there and show you guys Midtown. So right now we're kind of like on the outskirts of Midtown, and that's kind of like separated by these train tracks that we're gonna see up here. See these train tracks here? Yeah, we'll go over here. Wait. The scooter, yeah, the scooter actually does it. Oh boy, it's kind of shaky. Oh, it's shaky. Damn. I could definitely go through it, guys. I shouldn't have done that because the camera's gonna pick up on all those. Damn, that got kind of squirrely right there. Hold on. Let me make sure we're good. We got a good angle of what we're seeing. All right. So from Midtown, if we go here and cross this street right here, actually, you know what? We got time. We got time, guys. I'm walking the scooter. We're gonna pass through, before we go to Midtown, we're gonna pass through the design district. This is, right now, we just entered the design district, okay? So, shops, designers, this is like a designer's area. You'll see a bunch of stores here. High-end stores, just a little bit forward. But yeah, this is kind of like this is why, right? See that? All right, so if you follow me on Google Maps, it's Northeast 38th and Northeast 2nd Avenue. This is also one of those areas that has changed considerably. We just turn back over here again. UPS in the house. All right. So we're in the design district and we're gonna head back to Midtown now. But I do wanna show you guys what we got going on here. Oh, we got a bike lane, that's good. Ramdeseo, Armani Casa. See, these are all these Mio Mio, whatever that means, or so 39th Street I would say is kind of like the heart of the design district right here, right? 39 and 2nd. So when you pay your really, really good interior designer for some advice on how your house should look, this is where they go, okay? We got the Versace store right here. Mio Mio. I don't know, guys. I hope I'm not butchering that because, you know, I'm not really into fashion. I'm into boats. But I'll tell you what, I'm digging the Versace store. It looks cool. All right, you guys are getting a little treat. I hope I don't run out of battery. We got Fendi, Giorgio Armani, Christian Dior. All right. The Louis Vuitton store. See? Alright, so design district. You got a lot of money to spend, you want to come here. Alright, let's get out of here. But you at least have an idea, right? We can go down this area again. Let me see if I can get you guys the exact address right now. I know we're on 39th and... Hold on, let's see what's going on over here because it looks like there's some cool artwork. Alright, so... Alright, let's continue with our trek. I know you guys want to see a little bit of everything, guys, but listen, I got to manage this battery as much as possible. So, alright, so, kind of think that guy was going to tell me that I look good, and I was like, wow, bro, I don't want to be hit on right now. I really don't. I'm doing writing to a video, guys. Alright, back to Midtown. We just left the design district. Wait for it. All right, you see how it says Miami Design District up there? All right, now we're gonna go back to 36th Street, which is what we're on right now. This is 36th Street. This will separate the design district, which is toward my right, and Midtown to my left. When you come and you get an Uber, they're probably gonna come in through here, okay? All right, welcome to Midtown. If we go further, right? Not this light, maybe the second light after this one. Not the one that's here, not the one that's over there red. It's kind of like where we started this video, just so you guys have an idea. We just kind of did a whole roundabout. All right, ladies. you guys love yourself some Target, and a lot of shopping, a lot of dining in this area, and obviously there's a lot of buildings here. Marshall's, Bed Bath and Beyond, or Bath and Body Works. So the locals that live in these buildings here have everything accessible here. So a lot of young professionals that maybe didn't want to spend all the money that you would spend in areas like Brickell, they said, hey, let's go to Midtown. Midtown is cool. It's kind of central. It's not far from the beach, not far from a lot of places. We can swing it. And like I said, if I make a quick right, which we will real quick, but I just want to give you guys the atmosphere, how everything just changes really, really fast, right? All right. More restaurants. Nice area to come and hang out on a weekend. You know what happens is maybe sometimes people just want to go and have a nice quiet meal. They'll come to Midtown, and then if they want to just drink a little bit, they'll go to Wynwood. Okay, so Midtown, we just passed through the design district, and now I'm going to show you guys how you would go to the beach. And you know how I always tell you guys, well, if I were to stay on the beach, I'd stay at the Lowe's, which is on 16th, yada yada. This is what I'm gonna do. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get back out of here, out of Midtown. And we'll start going our way. I hope we're getting some good footage for you guys. I hope you guys appreciate this. Hey, smash a like, guys, if you're enjoying this type of content. I think there's no better place or way to show somebody what's really going on in certain places other than letting people see things for themselves, right? All right, so we're back on the street where if I make a right, we go back to Wynwood, where all the artwork was. But I'm going to show you guys where see what's going on here. All right, we're going to pass the area where Enriqueta's was, which, like I said, guys, if you're not far from the beach and you want to hang out in this area, maybe you want to get a nice steak sandwich, come here. Trust me, you're gonna. They also have really good Cuban food as well. Don't get me wrong, really good. It's a mom and pop place. Don't think it's a place that's really lavish. You see how many of the locals just hang out there? Look, you see how they're all there. They have such a following, right? All right, so now we're on Northeast 2nd Avenue, and we're going towards downtown Miami now. But we're gonna go one block over. Oh, look, this is kind of like a new place to do like some soccer and all that stuff. Hold on, let me see what's behind me. I'm gonna cross over. We're gonna go and we're gonna pass by Biscayne Boulevard, which sometimes I tell you guys, you know, Biscayne Boulevard is, you know, let's just say if you're on Biscayne Boulevard and you're with a woman, well, I gotta be careful how I say this. Well, look, Biscayne would be known for, you know, picking up certain night women, right? Back in the days, I don't know how it is now, but you know, nowadays I guess you get on Tinder. I just found out about that whole swipe right thing. I was like, what the hell? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, look it up, guys. Trust me. Ew. All right, so we're getting on to Biscayne. So a lot of the houses used to be like this in this area, and little by little they've been demolished and demolished. And here's Biscayne Boulevard. Now Biscayne will get you all the way up to downtown. Oh boy, there's no street light here. This is gonna get a little interesting, my friends. Alright, so just to give you guys an idea, you know how I told you, like, hey, look, the closer you get to the water, alright? So right now we're about to hit the intercoastal. This area is already kind of be considered Bayshore, North Bayshore Drive, I believe. This back area, all the back here. But like I said, I want to come over here and show you guys the backdrop so you get about an idea. And then I'm going to show you what I was telling you guys, why I recommend going to the Lowe's, right? So right now we're just on a scooter. And here's the water, obviously. See this area? That's a bridge that gets to Miami Beach, I'm sorry. And then you have over here, and that's the Macarthur. What we did a video on recently on my YouTube channel was going all the way to that corner, kind of like where that building is, straight ahead. Now, you see there's a small bridge. That is the Venetian Bridge, okay? And we're gonna drive to the Venetian real quick, because if you guys follow the other video, you can get a better idea of where I'm at. Like if you're gonna come in an Uber, whatnot. Okay, so we're going towards the Venetian. Now that's the intercoastal. A little bit further, you're gonna have obviously the ocean on the other side. But let's go and show you guys where they've had boat shows, and because some of you guys may be hanging out here for the boat show. I really do hope that the content is looking pretty decent here. I'm trying to do my best not to shake my head as much. We'll do some quick whip panning. All right, back to Biscayne. And we're on Biscayne Boulevard and 24th Street, just for you guys that are watching the riding tour. Palo quemao means burnt stick in Spanish. All right. Now, in the direction we're going towards downtown Miami. We pass downtown Miami, and from there we can eventually go to Brickell, and it just keeps on going south, south, south until you go to different parts of South Miami and whatnot. All right, so once you get an Uber, and just so you guys don't freak out, because sometimes the Uber app will tell your Uber to go through the Venetian Causeway as opposed to the Macarthur Causeway. Some people might freak out. Kind of like where we're at, this is kind of like the heart of Miami, guys. This whole area, because it's pretty central too, and it's very expensive. You see all these properties and land in this area. A lot of people, just because of where it's at and the proximity to a lot of things, they find it highly desirable. You see how the whole city has changed based on certain areas we go to really, really quick. All right, so here is where I was going to tell you guys is South Bay Shore, or no, I'm sorry, North Bay Shore. And if you guys have stayed and done maybe the Miami Yacht Show, typically is held in this area, and I do believe it might be in this marina in 2022. I don't want to say anything until I can confirm that. But yeah, we're on North Bay Shore Drive right now. And right here on North Bay Shore, there's a nice park. And you'll see that in a moment. Try to see if we can get in here. And you guys can see what's going on here on North Bay Shore. All right. Look, there's water there. And here's the park here on North Bay Shore. This is a place called Quantum. A lot of these places have Airbnbs, guys. And there's a Marriott coming up. And I don't know if it's a Hilton property, but we'll find out now. And then we have some. Oh boy, that little trusty bell does the trick all the time. Look, you got a little dog park over here if you want to move over here. I don't know, for some reason, every time you take a pit bull in there, everybody just leaves. They like, it's bad. Market Pace Park in the city of Miami, guys. All right, we're still on North Bay Shore Drive, guys, and we're heading towards the Venetian Causeway. Little volleyball court over here. Now, when we are in this video, if you look at the Miami riding tour, it has to say riding tour video. If you follow that whole video, you'll notice that I ended up going down that street from the Venetian, but I didn't go all the way. And I'm gonna hit it there now. So here's the area where a lot of this is the Grand. This is probably one of the places you would stay if you want to be very, very close to the Miami Yacht Show, because right behind it is where the Yacht Show, one of the venues are. Now, the next venue is going to be right here. You see this Marriott? All right, so there it is. Nice cathedral here off of North Bay Shore. And here is where the boat show is going to be. This is where the boat show is going to be, right here. Which will, okay, so this will be one venue of the Miami International Boat Show, okay? In collaboration, and they're partnering with the Miami Yacht Show, and I think there's another show as well. So the Venetian Causeway is right here. So this causeway goes to South Beach also, right? Boat show. Let me just show you guys real quick so you guys can see where some of the boats that'll be on the water will be. Okay, so this is where they've had it in the past. Like I said, I don't know what's the story if they're gonna have that one here this time again. They might have it at just this side up here. And the boat show is also gonna be at the convention center. So in Miami Beach, it's not in Key Biscayne this year. So keep that in mind, okay? So yeah, you see, this is where the boat show is going to be. All right, let me get up here for a second and show you guys how they're starting to stage it already, right? So the backdrop is over there where you see a Ferris wheel on the distance. That is the Ferris wheel that's at Bayside, the city of Miami. The Macarthur Causeway goes over to the beach, and so does this here. Now, like I said, if you watch the other video, the riding tour, when I get on the Venetian, I talk about this is what it is. So we're gonna go back towards to where I actually parked, and we'll see how much battery I have, right? And now you guys know where the boat show is going to be. One of the parts of the boat show, which is going to be back here. Now this is the Omni, and if you for whatever reason decide to take public transportation, here's a very popular hub where you can come off of the Metro Rail mover. This is the Metro Rail mover, and it's the Adrian Arch Center station. So if you guys get on the Metro Rail, listen up closely, because if you do this, if you get off on Government Center, which is kind of like the main hub for people getting on and off and connecting with the Metro mover, you can get on the Metro mover, all right, and you would get off on the Adrian Arch Center, and that's this area right here. So the Metro mover is essentially like a small mover that gets you around downtown, primarily Brickell and areas like that. And then the Metro Rail is what kind of gets you from north to south. Here's the Adrian Arch Center up here. And if we go to that Macarthur Bridge, you see that up there? If we go over there, then we'll go to South Beach again. John and James L. Knight Concert Hall over here, and the Adrian Arch Center up ahead as well. Now there's a lot of construction going on over here, guys. We're back on Biscayne, and we're gonna start going back. Now I've done a walking tour back of that area where we just passed. If I would have made a left, and that area is known as Bayside. Definitely you guys will probably want to come to Bayside if you're here. Very nice area, good place to buy things. If you're coming off of a cruise, you definitely want to get over there. So look, we're gonna go a little bit different now, back to where we started this video. So I'll show you guys what's going on. And this is essentially the heart of Miami. I've taken you guys everywhere. I hope I haven't, my battery hasn't died, or I have enough SD card to continue. All right, you see right now we're under the Metro mover, and you see it above me right there. So, you know, look, we just passed the school board. Here's another station. I mean, I definitely would do your research, even though sometimes if you guys have, you see, school board station, this is where you would get off. Boom, you go and you work. And here is kind of like back to North Miami Avenue, which is essentially the street that gets us into Wynwood. Look, more buildings. All this is new, guys. All this construction has just Wynwood has just grown exponentially in the last couple of years. We're on Northeast 14th Place and Northeast Miami Place. Now, we are close to Overtown, where we began also this trek. Here's an interesting area. I thought this was always interesting why they hadn't developed this. See this area here? There's going to be a lot of new construction here. This was always known as a equipment rental place for like food. You know what, bro? All right, fudge it. I'll probably have to take an Uber back. I don't know. Maybe this thing. I'm going to take you guys to space and where the club fleeing is. All right. So this is all being. A lot of it has been bought out. And now here's an area where we're getting into the nightclub scene in Miami. And when you guys see Space, and now you can see how close Space is, and Club 11, which is a very popular club. Here's Club 11. I don't want to veer so far in this way. All right, guys, but this is Club 11. See here? Club 11, that's the entrance of Club 11. And here's Space Nightclub. So when you come to Space and you want to party your arse off, here's where Club Space is. Now, Space originally came here because they kind of put like an ordinance in Miami Beach. And this was the first bridge over to Miami, and Miami was more lenient. But when Space first started, and we're already kind of like in downtown Miami, guys. This is downtown Miami again. I'm gonna show you real quick, and I gotta start heading back. But I'll show you guys where Space originally started. You see the bridge right there? That's the bridge. All right. You guys suckered me into doing a longer riding tour than I wanted to. That's fine. I'll let you smash a like button. All right, so right here in this lot is where Space Nightclub was originally at. Right here. And all this here was, I mean, there used to be a gas station right here in this big old building right here. I love when everybody starts looking at me funny. All right, so right now we're very close to Bayside, which I guess I'm going to show you real quick because at this point I'm in too deep. And you guys will see most of Miami, like the heart, right? This is the heart, and then I've done a walking tour of Little Havana, which is in the opposite direction which way I'm going. That's the Frost Science Center right here, and we're back on Biscayne Boulevard, okay? But we went under the overpass, and there's our arena. Look at these buildings, dude. It's crazy how much all this area has grown. I think I might have enough battery to get back. I don't know. We'll find out. All right. Cool riding tour. It's always a little bit more perspective when you go a little bit everywhere. And this is where our Miami Heat play. See that? That is our Miami Heat American Airlines Arena. And that building up there is the Freedom Tower. All right, so we're gonna start getting out of here. We're gonna start heading back towards Wynwood. So stick around. I want you guys to see how close Wynwood is. And I don't know, let's see what we see. A lot of construction workers over here now. I'm gonna go a little bit further up so you guys can see other areas of Overtown that we have not probably seen in the video. And yeah, Miami, it's incredible how much Miami is growing. It's crazy. Now, if I just continue to my left, eventually I go to more the center of downtown, and then there's also Brickell and areas like that, okay? But I wanted to show you guys Midtown and Wynwood today. And actually we showed you Midtown, Wynwood Design District. And you see how North Miami Avenue? Oh wow. They got a bike lane. I like it. I'm liking this. All right, back on North Miami Avenue. Hope this guy see. Well, he did. You gotta check your tints, bro. Check your tints. I got hydraulic brakes on this, guys. It's probably texting and driving, right? Who doesn't nowadays? All right, back to Overtown. And we're gonna kind of cross through the back area. Now, initially our arena was in Overtown, and you know, eventually they took it away. You see, it would be here. I think one of the stations is still called Overtown Arena on the Metro Mover. Okay, you see here. Here it is, Northwest First Court. When you see North Miami Avenue divides Northwest and Northeast. So you see, now we're gonna go up avenues if we were to go. See this here? I haven't seen none of this here. Look, it's the Red Rooster. Cool. Overtown Health District trolley. All right, we got to go the opposite way, but I definitely want to see what's going on over here. Oh, look, there's roosters. It's amazing how much this place has grown, dude. All right. If we were to go now under this overpass, which is 95, we could essentially go a couple of streets up to 8th Street, and then we'll be in 8th Street. And 8th Street is obviously more Hispanic, and then you see kind of like the area called Little Havana. So we're still right now in Overtown. Oh boy. And now we're heading back towards Wynwood. But you see, like, this is kind of like an area that a lot of people don't see in Miami. The historic Baptist Church, Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. I hope the camera's getting good footage of this. It really means a lot to me if it does. Now, once we get to 20th Street, all right, so we're coming up on the park. Oh, Gibson Park. Aiden played football here against, when Aiden, my son, for those of you guys that don't watch the channel often, he played the Overtown football team here in this park, Gibson Park. Overtown and the Raiders, the Palmetto Raiders, usually have the best teams and the best athletes when it comes to football. So you will see some of the greatest football players and kids in South Florida come out of these areas. Overtown is known for having an incredible football program for their young youth, and it all originates in that park right there. All right, we're getting close to leaving Overtown. Still got a little bit more. A lot of construction going on. All right, you see we're on 15th, and on 20th is where Wynwood. Now, Wynwood, back in the days, was known as a very, there was a lot of Puerto Rican influence in that area many years ago. A lot of friends that I grew up with were Puerto Rican. They had a what did that guy say? They had a lot of influence in this area, in Wynwood. And then, like I said, it was known for like body shops and industrial areas, and then little by little it just morphed into Wynwood, right? Like it became an art scene, and it just has grown. Now they put some buildings, and you know how they say, you know, if you build it, they will come. Well, they came, and people like the area. And it's just building out to be a cool, different spot in the country. All right, so we're about to exit Overtown, and it's coming up on here. Oh, somebody's got any guy, please, if anybody hits me, let it be that guy right there. Please, let it be that guy. I'll pretend, guys. I'll be on the floor, like, jacked up. I'm like, oh, God. I rented it, bro. Damn, go. And get out back on my scooter and leave. All right, back to Wynwood. And we're on Northwest 2nd Avenue and 20th Street, guys, which is what I would consider the entrance to Wynwood. Oh, look, there's a sign that says Wynwood starts here. How cool is that, huh? I'll show you guys the sign real quick. All right. It's been a pretty cool tour, man. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And I try to do this unedited, guys. And the reason I do that is because I think it's a little bit more telling for you guys of what to really expect, right? All right, so look at the sign. It says Wynwood start. Look at it up there. Hold on. Wynwood starts here. And man, Alec Monopoly came in over here and painted the whole neighborhood. Very famous artist. He actually did a collaboration with Cigarette Boats, and they had an event here. Look, he's got more stuff. So look, he's got a bunch of people. Let's go see if we see some of this mural that he did. So that's what's kind of cool about this area, guys. People are like, hey, you know, I'll do some artwork for you, and here. All right, back to Wynwood. Oh, there's a Ferrari there. Look at that. That looks nice. Now, my favorite artist down here is a gentleman by the name of Gabriel Jimenez. And he goes by the name Gigi. And I think he has some NFTs now of some of his work in Nifty Gateway, which is a very popular place where you can buy NFTs. And these are all these little areas down here in Wynwood, guys. So just do your research when you come. Look, La Sandwicheria. That place is known for a great sandwich, and they're also on 8th Street. You see how this has all that like old school, I was a body shop vibe. Little by little, they've just become restaurants and places. Let's go back to the main. I think, guys, visually, if I'm still recording, because I can't tell if I'm recording or not, this has to be probably the best way to show Miami in the heart of Miami, right? We just circled the heart of Miami without doing anything, you know, to not show. Okay, we're getting back towards Wynwood Walls, and this is kind of like 24th Street, the Cayo Taco and all that stuff. That's kind of like essentially where you would come. If you were to take an Uber and you're coming to Wynwood, I would tell the Uber, hey, I'd like to be dropped off at Wynwood Walls, okay? That's where you would want to put your point of reference. It's called Wynwood Walls, which is this area right here. Very touristy, a lot of presence of police, especially on the weekends. And that's it, guys. I mean, how cool is that? We actually made it. We made it with the scooter. I mean, I don't know if my camera's still recording, but smoke shop. And all these empty lots are eventually going to be, you know, more buildings, and who knows what's in store. So we started this video on this street, Northwest 2nd Avenue and 29th Street, which is the other entrance to what we call Wynwood. And now you know, because you didn't know. Let me say bye to you guys. All right, guys. Well, that's in Wynwood. Wait for it. All right. Take this helmet off real quick. Say bye and thank you. Look, so you guys can see what I look like. Maybe you guys can see. See, I'm wearing the camera on my head. You see it right there? And I've got a, chest mount and stuff. All right. Well, listen up. Thanks a lot for enjoying that trip with me, guys. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Amazingness, that's what we do. And check out my walking tours. You're gonna get a lot of information like this, especially if you're coming to Miami. I want to give you guys as much information so you guys can come over here, feel safe, and do a lot of things. Alfred, Montaner, Magazine, as always. Where's their flag? There's a flag around here. There's no flag. I'm out of here. I'll find a flag.